What's going on, my truth seekers? I want to talk to you today about the oppressor and the deliverer. Now, throughout the Bible, the oppressor is one deity, which is the devil. And throughout the Bible, the deliverer is one deity, which is Yahushua. So, if you look at the Old Testament, the people of Hebrew, the Hebrew children were in slavery to who? Egypt, Pharaoh. So who is the oppressor? Pharaoh. But behind Pharaoh was the spirit, which is the devil, which is the oppressor. So they were delivered in the Old Testament by the name Yahuwah. We go to the New Testament. The oppressor is still the same person. The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So the oppressor is who? The devil. And who is the deliverer in the New Testament? Yahushua, which means Old Testament Yahuwah, New Testament Yasha, meaning Yahuwah has become our salvation, Yahusha. So the deliverer is one. The oppressor is one. Make sense? Now, if you look at the Old Testament, the oppressor tried to stop the promise, which is the coming of the Messiah, tried to break the covenant and tried to destroy the chosen people. So you got to understand the oppressor still subject himself to the king Yahuwah. He said, I allow your enemies to oppress you because of your disobedience. So why did the people in the Old Testament, the Israelites, fall into slavery? Why were the people scattered? Why did Babylon come in and cause the people to be put into slavery? Because of their disobedience. Yahuwah allowed that. So there's consequences to disobedience and there's consequences to sin. Now, check this out. If you look at the scriptures, Judges chapter 2:14 says, Yahuwah sold them into the lands of their enemies. Who did that? The Most High. Why? Because of their disobedience. He allowed the oppressor to oppress his people because of their disobedience. So what do that mean? Even the oppressor must follow the rules of Yahuwah, making him what? King of kings. If you look at Deuteronomy 24, Deuteronomy 28, verse 48, it says, their enemies became their taskmasters. They were put into slavery. Israel. If you look at Genesis 15:14, notice what he said, and also that nation whom you shall serve will I judge. So even though Yahuwah allowed his people to go into bondage because of their disobedience, he even judged the nation, judged the oppressor that he allowed to cause them to go into bondage. So that's Old Testament, showing you that the oppressor is the devil. And even though the devil may get permission to put the people into bondage, he said, not only will I allow the devil to put you into bondage because of your disobedience, I will also judge that nation and I will also break the hold of the devil off of you. Now, New Testament, same thing. In the New Testament, it's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war. The Bible says in Revelations 12:10, the accuser of the brethren, the devil, is cast down. So who is the accuser of the brother? The devil. Who is the oppressor in the Old Testament? The devil. Who is the oppressor and the accuser in the New Testament? The devil. Making what? The oppressor the same deity. Notice the Bible says, Yahuwah exposed him, meaning the devil in the New Testament. It says in 1 Corinthians 2:8, if they had known, meaning the devil, they would have not crucified the master of glory. So when Yahushua walked the earth, the devil, the oppressor, did not know that that was Yahuwah manifested in the flesh. He didn't know that was the word that became flesh. So he thought by killing him, he won the victory. He didn't know by allowing him to die, he only helped fulfill the prophecy. the covenant promise. So Yahushua breaks bondage, right? So if you look at the New Testament, the devil oppresses the people mentally. The devil oppresses the people spiritually. It's the battle of the mind. How? Through who like politics? Who like their government? Can we overthrow the government right now, even though we don't agree? That's called oppression. That's called bondage. So we are in bondage mentally, spiritually, and somewhat physically by the oppressor through social constructs, through political systems, through belief systems, through religious systems. Those social constructs mold us, influence us, and keep us into slavery mentally, spiritually, physically, because they control everything, just like it was in the days of Moses and Pharaoh, so it is today. So what's the difference? The Messiah came and he overcame. The difference is he freed us mentally. He freed us spiritually, but not physical yet until we get that resurrected body. Make sense? So the Bible says we should know the truth, and the truth shall do what? Set us free. Now there's only one truth. Yahushua said he is the way, the truth, and the life. So who is the truth? Yahushua. And Yahushua is one deity, right? So there's also another way, which is called oppression and bondage of the mind. So the people, we have been freed if we allow ourselves to believe in the truth. And there's only one truth, and that truth is what? Yahushua. So if we do not come in agreement with the truth, then what are we? We are still in mental, spiritual bondage and physical bondage, influenced by mystery Babylon, driven by social constructs, belief systems, political systems, religious systems. Make sense? All right. So follow me. So the pattern in the Old Testament is the same in the New Testament. Here's the pattern in the Old Testament. One oppressor, Pharaoh. One cause, sin. One method, physical slavery. One deliverer in the Old Testament, Yahuwah. One outcome, the enemy was judged and defeated. One freedom, they exited Egypt. Here's the New Testament. Same pattern. One oppressor, the devil. One cause, rejecting truth. One method, mental slavery. One deliverer, Yahushua. One outcome, the enemy is judged and defeated. One freedom, salvation and truth. So do you see how the oppressor and the deliverer are the same? There's the oppressor, which is the same in the old and the new, and the deliverer is the same in the old and the new. So if you understand oppression, then you understand where it comes from. If you understand you are oppressed mentally and spiritually, you understand there is a deliverance. The name Yahuwah delivered in the Old Testament, and the same name delivered in the New Testament, which is Yahushua. There is no other deliverance in any other name. The Bible says there isn't any other name given amongst men whereby we must be saved. There's one truth. There's one deliverer. With all you're getting, get understanding. Until next time, seek truth.